And we move on to the next item on our agenda. And this is a talk by Mr. Sunil Subramanyam, CEO, Sundaram Mutual Fund. And this is on how to build brand IFA. May I request our IFA member, one of you, to kindly escort Mr. Sunil Subramanyam on the stage, please. Can we all put our hands together? And I request Mr. Arpudaraj to kindly join us on stage to felicitate Mr. Sunil. Mr. Arpudaraj, here he goes felicitating Mr. Sunil. Can we all give him a big round of applause, please? Mr. Sunil, he's here with us and he is the CEO, Sundaram Mutual Fund, and he has 31 years of experience in the financial service sector across MNC, public sector and private sector companies. The companies he has worked with include State Bank of India, American Express Bank and Bank of America. Sunil Subramanyam has completed his Masters in Business Administration from the Open University Business School, London, and is an MSc graduate from IIT Madras. He is also a Certified Associate of the Indian Institute of Bankers. He is also on the board of Sundaram Asset Management Singapore Private Limited. During this time, he has been with Sundaram Mutual. His aim of Sundaram Mutual has seen manifold growth. And in his tenure, spanning over 9.5 years with the Sundaram Mutual Fund, he has handled various roles, Vice President and Executive Director, to name a few. So let me not take too much time, and let me request Mr. Sunil to kindly come over and go ahead with your talk. A big round of applause for him once more, please.
சகோதர சகோதரிகளே, புரட்சி தலைவர் சொல்ற மாதிரி இரத்தத்தின் ரத்தமே. நான் ஆக்சுவலாக தமிழில் தான் பேசலான்னு வந்தேன். இப்போ என்னை எஸ்கார்ட் பண்ணவர் கூட தயவுசெய்து கொஞ்சம் தமிழில் பேசுங்கன்னு சொன்னார். பட் when I was having lunch, I saw that I met quite a few of my friends from Bombay and other cities. So to some extent, I have to change my thing. I think I'll have to use largely English. It's not respectful to our guests if we speak in our local language. So, but you should pardon me because suddenly sometimes I will slip into Tamil, my friends from other cities. Okay, so this reminds me of my BSc days. Okay, before that I should tell you one thing. This bell, when it goes off, it doesn't mean I have to walk off. It means there is 3 minutes to go. When the second bell goes off, there's still 1 minute to go. So I'm not overstaying my welcome even after the second minute. Second, branding is a subject of MBA. There are MBAs in branding. And when Srini and AKN told me that I have 15 minutes to talk about branding, you can know what happened to me, right? And that's why I said it reminds me of my time from when I was doing my BSc in Loyola College. And we had exams every day those days. No study leave between exams. 5 days in a row, I never slept. I studied for the exams. 6th day, I wanted to sit up with my book. I went to sleep. I woke up at 6 o'clock, exam at 9 o'clock. So what did I do? I picked up the Minerva tutorial study guide. The subject was inorganic chemistry. And believe it or not, I got 94 out of 100 in that subject. So in 15 minutes, what am I going to try to do for you, right? I'm going to give you a Minerva tutorial to branding. Okay? So you should pardon me because I don't know how on earth I'm going to do this in 15 minutes. So I don't know whether the organizers will throw me off, but I'm going to go with my flow. Okay? So broadly what I'm going to tell you is, first of all, what is a brand? Second, what makes a brand powerful? How does it differentiate? And then I'll come to the relevance of a brand to individual, because generally brands are associated with companies. And then I'll talk about branding for the IFA. Okay? So to start off, How can an IFA build his brand? That was the question given to me. So what is a brand? I don't know whether all of you at the end can see, so I'll try and talk through these slides. This gives you a list of various international brands, right? Microsoft, Oracle, Sony, Toyota, Cisco. So first thing about brand is just the name gives you a recognition. You don't need to know anything more than just the name. So the most important part of a brand is that a simple name can give you a recognition. Next, what is a brand? Who is this? Steve Jobs. What is the brand he represents? Apple. So what is Apple as a brand? How is a brand created? We all jump in Indian context. When we think about brand, we think about advertising. Correct? But how many of you have bought Apple because of an advertisement of Apple? None, right? So what makes a brand? Iconic brands are not just about advertising. What are they about? They're about design of the product, quality, service, motivated employees, but ultimately customer delight. So the 2 points from your perspective and 2.5 points are the quality of what you offer to the customer, the services that you offer, and ultimately your customer has to be delighted. Right? So what makes a brand great? Right? First of all, as a brand, and this is where it becomes relevant to the IFA. So please, if you can look at it from this perspective, from this slide onwards, every slide is going to be relevant to you. Okay? First of all, they span categories. They don't stick to a single product. Take Apple, right? It's in the music business, it's in the photographic business, in the telephone business. Build a competitive moat, which means what? The customer cannot be taken away simply by pricing by a competitor. That's the entry barrier you must create. Second. Third, the cash flow must be sustainable. Normally from a stock market because it values stock market. But from an individual, people will go and buy a brand if they know that the brand is going to continue to exist 10 years from now. So people don't buy products where the product provider may not exist. So it's important that the IFA concentrate on making sure that this business is profitable. Third, you've got to span borders. Now borders are not just about geographic borders. I'll explain a little bit later. Second, you must also build a brand which is immune to economic cycles. You can't say, now equity markets are booming, I'm serving my customer. Right? You can't drop out of the customer's mindset if the markets are not supportive. So how does branding help? The most important thing, and this is very important from your perspective, is that brand creates a differentiator from a product, which is just a commodity, to a brand. What's the difference? Products are made in the factory and just sold. Their products are commodities, they can be copied by competitors, and they can quickly become outdated. There are enough products which you know of, like Kodak, right? Once a great brand, didn't exist. Why? What happens to brands? First of all, brands are not sold, they are bought by customers. That is, they are satisfying a customer need. So from your perspective, you've got to make sure that you are solving a need so that the customer is demanding you as a service provider. Second, they are unique. So you have to think about how can you make yourself unique. Third thing, brands are timeless. It's not just the flavor of the season. So how do you think all of this helps? Because brands establish an emotional connect. There are some brand commandments, right? Products are bought, brands live in the customer's life. Honesty to trust. Honesty is expected of everybody, but trust is earned through engagement. Right? Quality to preference. Quality is a given, but preference creates sales. Communication to dialogue. Products are just sold, but solutions are shared with the customer. And services to relationship. You're not just selling your service, but you're engaging with the customer. So I'm just going to show you one slide to show you what powerful difference a brand can make. HTC was the first in the smartphone market in the world. But HTC remained a commodity provider of mobile phones. Apple created a brand around its product. So over a 10-year time frame, can you see the difference in the sales and profits of the two companies? That's the power of a brand, right? Now, having set the stage for a brand, then the question which is important is, can an individual become a brand, right? Because that's the question you will think. Oh, it's okay for a company to become a brand. It's okay for institutions to become a brand. As an individual IFA, how am I going to become a brand? Can you become a brand? So just think. The biggest brand in India today, right? Mr. Narendra Modi, right? Yes? Right? So that is the fact that individuals can rise above everything else and become a brand themselves. So Narendra Modi has to be your inspiration. Right? So there are 3 questions you must all ask yourself if you want to become a brand. What makes me great? What makes me unique? What makes me compelling? Okay? So we'll answer each of these questions. So what makes me great means what? What are the questions, sub-questions you should ask yourself? What do I do better than anybody else? What am I naturally good at? And what do people ordinarily ask me to help them with? So each person is different. Some people are caring, some people are knowledge-driven, right? So you have to know what makes you great. Next. What makes me unique? What is about my personality or my work ethic which is different from others, which is unique? Why would my customer choose me over others, right? Why would he, what capabilities do I share with my peers? How am I different from my peers? And third question to ask yourself is what makes me compelling? That is, the customer doesn't have a choice but to come to me, right? So who is making decisions about you in the customer's mind? Who is he benefiting from your services? And you have to choose to be selectively famous. Unlike Mr. Modi, you can't be famous to everybody at all times, right? You have to choose the customer to which you are famous. And why would then your customer become an ambassador for your brand? That is word of mouth mobilizing business for you, right? So what would make them choose me, appreciate me, and promote me to others? So these 3 questions, each one of you has to sit down and ask yourself if you want to become a brand. Now, how can you then build your personal brand? What are the, this is like I said, Minerva guide, right? So there are the few action steps which each one of you must do. I'm sure this presentation will be available to the organizers, so if you want to take note. Right, first, start thinking of yourselves as a brand, right? Next, audit your online presence. We talked about Bala, Prashant, all talked about how online and internet and everything have become, even rural India, right? People are ordering through Snapdeal and Amazon. So auditing your online presence is absolutely critical. Securing a personal website, that's one of the steps that you have to take. You have to set up your www.muthukrishnan.com, right? Why did I say Muthukrishnan? I'll come to that in a little bit. You have to find ways to produce value, right? So which means what? You have to speak in public, you have to write articles, you have to get featured in them, you have to blog, and you have to upload your podcasts. These are the ways you produce value. Be purposeful in what you share. Don't send tweets on every topic on the earth. Be purposeful in what you share. Associate yourself with other strong brands. Rotary clubs, Lions clubs, your college alumni, or IFA Galaxy, the biggest brand in the IFA business, right? So does your visiting card say member IFA Galaxy? Associate yourself with the brand and derive the strength from it, right? Reinvent yourself, right? What does it mean? Don't be stale. I'll tell you an example. Which was the song we all stood up for today? Vande Mataram, right? But was it the original Vande Mataram? It is the A.R. Rahman Vande Mataram. Does anybody remember the original Vande Mataram? We do. But this is the one which creates excitement because the younger youth have only heard this. So even India as a country has reinvented its national song Vande Mataram to suit the modern times, right? So this is the summary of what I just said, 3 steps, right? So now I come to your business. How is this relevant, right? So we talked about those few steps, right, for a company's brand. I have tried to relate that to the IFA's business, right? So first we said they span categories. So what does it mean for the IFA's business? You have to offer solutions that caters to all your clients' investment needs. What do I mean by this? You have to become the financial advisor, which means you've got to have total share of his wallet, right? What does it mean? Whether he wants to put it in bank deposit, he wants to buy accident insurance, whether he wants to put private deposits, or equities, or real estate, or gold. Please understand that you have to become a provider to him. You may not charge for some of the services, but you still have to be that service provider. Only then you will build a connect. Next, build a competitive moat. How do you build a competitive moat? If your customer is going to a competitor for some other service, that man is going to eat into your rest of your business. So the important thing for you to do is to tie up. You can't know everything about estate planning, about will writing, but please tie up with providers, but make sure the service is offered through your brand. Right? But you have to become a one-stop solution to all. That is your competitive mode. Sustaining cash flows, you have to minimize the negative impact on your revenue stream due to externalities. Right? What is that? Mix of upfront and trail, nothing more. Right? Then span borders. Why? Today, increasingly your customers are aware of the world. They're watching TV. So, to the extent that you can help international products understand global markets, relate that to domestic markets, as well as get global products, it's good for you. Right? And finally, you've got to be immune to economic cycles, which means what? If equity markets are down, you've got to have fixed income products on your biz. If gold is doing well, you've got to have a provider providing gold, which means that through all the economic cycles, you've got to make sure that you offer a product. So that comes to the end of my presentation. I still have 30 seconds to go, right? So I leave you with a 5-point letter. AIDEA. What is that? Create awareness, A, of yourself to the customer. B, I. Interest. Create an interest in the customer to buy your product. D. Differentiate your product compared to your competitors. E. Establish an emotional connect with the customer. Be there for his birthday, for his functions, for everything. And A. Motivate action to invest. Right? Create the circumstance for him to invest. So finally, my last word. Can IFAs become brands? I said yes. But you know who's the proof of that? It's IFA Galaxy. You know why? There are 15 speakers listed for the conference today and tomorrow, and 40% of them are IFAs. If they were not brands in themselves, would they be invited to speak here? Thank you very much, my friends.
Big round of applause, gentlemen. He has given us a IAM marketing class in 15 minutes. Great, Sunil. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope we get a degree for this as well.
Pardon?
The course is done, but the degree?
And if I can request you to stay on, let me request Mrs. Anita Bhatt to kindly come forward and give away a memento to Mr. Sunil as a token of our gratitude. Thank you, dear sir, for such an enjoyable session.
Sunil, can you please wait up for a minute?
Yeah. Before that, I tell you, I never believed I could finish this in 15 minutes. So I think I deserve a round of applause for myself.